Paws of Fury more like draws total script inspiration from Blazing Saddles. I'm TJ.
I'm Scott.
This is a review.
On today's episode, we're reviewing The Legend of Hank!
Woo!
Legend of Hank! Legend of Hank! Yeah!
Hank the Cow Dog movie.
Woo! So Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. Meow!
Is actually a remake of Blazing Saddles. Essentially, that was the script. There was an actual script by Mel Brooks out there called Blazing Samurai, that it was going to be a black samurai in an East Asian village defending against something. And then at one point they're like, let's make it cats and dogs instead.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, cats and dogs are a classic allegory for racism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has it ever been used as an allegory for racism before?
Maybe not cats and dogs, but it comes from a long history of animals and racism, I believe, you know.
What year are Cowboys?
Cowboys are early years, Scott.
The thing is, the problem with this movie is it's cute. It's a fun, cute kids movie. Kids will enjoy it. It's not bad. But the problem, I think, here is that your main character is voiced by Michael Cera, Hank. And he does a good job as this character. But this character isn't great for the movie because the movie is a remake of Blazing Saddles. The main character in Blazing Saddles is essentially like Bugs Bunny, with all the racist white people.
Thank you. Mungo like candy.
Samuel Jackson keeps telling him, like, if you're not stronger, you got to be smarter.
Right.
And the smarter thing to do is to be like wily and cartoony and out of the box thinking, you know.
That's what I was expecting,
and
too.
so to use that in that way, it would have fit perfectly, even within their slightly deviated, you know, narrative.
I mean, the basic plot points of the movie are so similar that it's like, why not just take the character stuff too? And that would have, like you said, it would have made way more sense. It would have been visually more fun and funny.
It would have just been allowed to be fun and just be constantly fun. And I don't think that would have been a problem for a kids movie.
I play a samurai cat. Meow!
Once again, this isn't Blazing Saddles. Right. They're different movies, but there's so much of this that's drawn from that.
Specifically Act 1.
So much of Act 1. I mean, it's like a shot-for-shot remake. The first half of this movie is,
Don't get me wrong. You're going to laugh a lot. And if you like Blazing Saddles, you're going to like this.
Yeah, I mean,
not a doubt.
Look, a horse gets punched.
Yeah.
Damn! It was surprising to me how they did keep Samuel Jackson's character, Jimbo, which is played by Gene Wilder in Blazing Saddles, that he's still like an alcoholic in this kid's movie. I thought that was an interesting take.
He's hooked on catnip. It's totally different.
But it's catnip that they went out of their way to explain that he brews into a drink so that he can walk around and drink it and be drunk and burp on the catnip. They really went out of their way to make it like he's drunk, but it's okay.
Well, because they went, you know what? This is a kids movie. Kids know that catnip isn't a drink.
Kids know that catnip is not a drink.
So you have to
but
brew
also
it like tea.
Kids will understand him having a meth lab. Hank, we have to cook. Yo, Mr. Jimbo!
Is Breaking Bad not a modern take on Blazing Saddles set in Albuquerque?
Ricky Gervais is in the film.
He plays a cat. He's now stooped down to James Corden's level.
This is a James Corden role.
It felt like, I know.
It should have been.
I thought a couple times that I was like, this could have been James Corden in a weird way.
Was James Corden busy?
He must have been.
Ricky Gervais was free?
Peter Rabbit 3, plugging it now.
Yes, please God, let there be a Peter Rabbit 3. So I I don't understand why Hank couldn't have like taken the cat under his wing now, and now he's going to be her mentor.
Which is kind of what I thought they were doing, and I liked that angle, especially if he was like overly showboaty, and then Samuel Jackson's mentor cat has to pull him back because he's endangering the little girl because he's in over his head.
There's a lot of nuance that this kids movie didn't quite have. That I really am upset by.
But cats don't like dogs, and they give the reason because I don't know. I didn't think about it. My grandpa doesn't like dogs or something like that. There's like a great just subtle cats have always hated dogs, and that's why we hate them. Don't think about it. It's pretty funny. I mean, it does a good job with its humor of the allegory.
Adequately explains racism in about one line.
Exactly, 100%. It's like a 5-second clip in a kid's movie that wraps up racism.
That's it. We saw Hank, the Legend of Hank. You heard it here first.
Solved
racism. Racism is over, thanks to Hank and Jimbo. Now that being said, it did create lots of new racist problems for Asian people.
Yes, it did. It can only solve so much.
This movie is just a walking, talking Asian stereotype. But yeah, racism solved except for
some racism left unsolved, and possibly worse.
Also worse. So I think that's a great time to bring us the final thoughts. So TJ, give us final thoughts on Cowdog? What? Paws of Fury, the legend of...
Hank the Cowdog.
Hank the Cowdog.
Legend of Paws of Fury.
Yeah.
Hank the Cowdog, Legend of Paws of Fury is a movie about Blazing Saddles. If you like Blazing Saddles, you'll like this movie. If you've ever watched Blazing Saddles and said, hey, I wish I could share this movie with my 11-year-old, you're welcome. Go see Paws of Fury. I'm going to give it 3. It's a solid 3. 3 single beans, not even canned beans, just 3 single beans of fury.
3 furious beans.
3 angry-faced beans.
My final thoughts on the Legend of Hank the Dog, Fury Paws, is that it's a remake of Blazing Saddles, and not a very good one at that. I laugh at the parts that were like Blazing Saddles. The rest of it were bad puns intended for kids. If you have a kid or are a kid, it might be okay. But if you want to introduce your kid to Blazing Saddles like you suggested, I would just show them Blazing Saddles and let them just...
I watched Blazing Saddles at the age of this movie's target demo.
Yeah, and you're fine.
Mostly.
Yeah. I say just show your kids Blazing Saddles. I give this movie 2 pots of beans out of 5. You know what? I'm going to even walk that back and say, as a grown-ass man seeing this kid's movie that's a remake of a movie that I actually love, that's meant for adults, I give this 1 pot of beans out of 5. It's not very good, and if you have kids, you could find better kids' movies for them to watch. So that's been our review of the Hank Legend, Paws, Fury, whatever the this movie's called.
Paws of Fury, the Legend of Hank. Meow!
That's it. So if you have any questions if you have any questions, subscribe to our channel and we'll answer them.
Anything at all.
That's it.
I think that's our best one.
Why is this our most unhinged review we've ever done?
I don't understand.
Because
there's nothing to talk about besides it being Blazing Saddles.
There's nothing to talk about.
But with dogs and cats. That's all we can say. It's
Can
just Blazing Saddles with dogs and cats.
And then hard cut to Mongo punching the horse.